Shalom. Oh, let me turn that down. Shabbat shalom, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sabbath, or they had a wonderful Sabbath, depending on what side of the world you are on. But yeah, we about to get started. Hold on, let me. Shabbat shalom. I got the speaker going. So now let me trying to get some stuff situated. 1 second. But I hope everybody having a wonderful Sabbath. And like I said, depending on what side of the world you on, your Sabbath may be finished, may be done. But still, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Let me send this out real quick. So we about to get started. Let me share my screen. All right. There we go. All right, so now, Shabbat Shalom. All right, so now I'm going into this lesson. This is about the calendar. Now, I'm not here to debate brothers and sisters about the calendar. You know, I'm not here to say whose calendar is right or whose calendar is wrong. You know, I'm kind of past that, you know. But I am going to bring forth the information about the early church calendar, about the Dead Sea Scrolls calendar. So I will bring forth this information. Now, this is Jerusalem ministry, okay? So we have, don't get this confused with the Children's Bread NGO platform. The Jerusalem ministry platform is a ministry that me and Brother Anayan had put together, you know, to spread the information, the historical information and the scriptural information about the early church. All right. So this is what this is. So this is Jerusalem ministry, and I'm Brother Palau, and we're bringing forth about the calendar. So about the New Year's. Now, the calendar in the Dead Sea Scrolls is set up a certain way. It's a set calendar. Now, I'm not knocking anybody who creates their own calendar, because you got people that create their own calendar. You got people who's following the Jewish lunar calendar. And I don't have no problem with people doing what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I believe we can come together even with our different, you know, ideologies and doctrines and things like that. But with that being said, I'm gonna go into the Dead Sea Scrolls calendar, and according to the Dead Sea Scrolls calendar, when is the new year and everything. And this is a special year because according to the Dead Sea Scrolls calendar, we are actually on the 7th year right now. And every 7 years, the calendar has a reset. All right, so we in the 7th year, and we in the year of the reset. We in the year of the reset, or the 7th year of release, what the scriptures call it, the 7th year of release, or the 7th year of the Sabbath rest of the land, the 7th year, the Sabbath rest of the land. All right. So this is what the scriptures call it, and the calendar is on that same type of time. It's on that same type of speed. All right. It's following, the land is connected with the calendar is connected with the land. All right. And the land is connected with the people. All right. So I'm gonna go into some things, discussing these things and showing how on the calendar in the 7th year, every 7th year, you skip a week, and that week is symbolic to 7 years in Jubilees counting. All right, so I'm gonna talk about that. So we're gonna talk about the 6-year cycle of the calendar and the 7th year rest of the calendar. We're gonna talk about those things. And then we're also gonna talk about how do we celebrate the 7th year according to the Torah? How do we celebrate the 7th year? I don't know it all. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Just like we all should still be learning and not stuck in our ways. All right. And then so we're gonna talk about how do we celebrate the 7th year. We're gonna talk about the 7th year, the year of release. You know, we're gonna go into about how it's the year of liberty. You know, this 7th year is the year of liberty, and at the end of the 7th year, it's the year of release. We're supposed to release, you know, people from their debts and things like that. And we're gonna talk about this because we're talking about how do you celebrate the 7th year of the Zadokite calendar, of the Dead Sea Scrolls calendar, or the early church calendar. Is all the same name. It's all the same calendar. All right. All right. So now I want to start it off. We're going to start in Leviticus chapter 25. All right. So I'm going to start in Leviticus chapter 25. But hold on, because it's something I want to be able to send this out more. Let's see. 1 second. All right, so let me bear with me because I'm trying to send it out also while I'm about to do this lesson. I'm trying to send the information out so people be able to tune in also. Now I'm live on Facebook, I'm live on YouTube. I'm trying to make sure that people are tuning in, or people have the chance to tune in, you know. So hold on 1 second. There we go. All right, I'll do the rest later. All right, so now we're going to start in Leviticus chapter 25. All right, we're going to start in Leviticus chapter 25. And I'm going to read this. 1 second. I'm going to read this. So Leviticus chapter 25, I'm going to start at verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. So the land has to keep a Sabbath also. Now the calendar is connected to the land, and the land is connected to the calendar, because the calendar and the land is connected to the astronomical cycle, which is 365.225. But we have a calendar which is on a 364 yearly cycle. All right. Now, but the land has their own Sabbaths too. See, if we not understanding the calendar, you're going to miss the Sabbath of the land. It's important for you to understand the 7th year, because that the land's supposed to have a rest for that whole year, and you're supposed to eat off the land what you accumulated throughout those years, okay, for harvesting on the land. All right, so the Sabbath land, the land has its own Sabbath. The land has its own Sabbath. So verse 3, and it says, 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, in 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. So 6 years we gather, we do what we have to do throughout those 6 years. But verse 4, but in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land. In the Sabbath for the Lord, thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard. So on the 7th year, the Sabbath is a Sabbath. On the 7th year, it's a Sabbath. And the land takes that sabbatical. The land takes a 1-year sabbatical. All right. And also the calendar does that too. I'm going to show y'all in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm going to show y'all how it's a 6-year cycle, and how on the 7th year, the priests, they do a different cycle. They do a different routine on the 7th year, what they call the year of release. Okay. So now we'll start right there. We're going to go to the book of Exodus real quick. Let's go to the book of Exodus. All right. So we're going to go to the book of Exodus, and I'm going to go to chapter 23. Okay. So this Exodus chapter 23, and let me make it bigger. So Exodus chapter 23, and I'm gonna start at verse 10. Okay, and this is laws about the Sabbaths and the festivals. So this is Exodus 23, verse 10. In 6 years thou shalt sow thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. Verse 11. But the seventh year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, right? That the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave, the beasts of the field. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy olive yard. So now we know, like, so 6 years you sowing the land, and just like 6 years, it's a cycle on the calendar for 6 years. I'm gonna show y'all in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's a 6 year cycle of the calendar. But on the seventh year of the calendar, the priests, they do a different type of ordinance. They do a different routine, just like we see in Exodus. But on the seventh year, so 6 years we sow the land, the land 6 years, but on the seventh year we let it rest and lie still. All right. So this is what we do. All right. And the calendar does the same thing also, because the calendar is connected to the land, and the land is connected to the calendar. All right. Now, so with that being said, let's slide to the Dead Sea Scrolls. We're gonna slide to the scrolls. 1 second. Let me go to the scrolls real quick. All right, so now we in the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right, and this is the calendar section. We're in the calendar section. Let me make it a little bigger. We're in the calendar section of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Penguin Classic Edition by Giza Vermes. And this is page 345. All right. So I'm going to go, well, yeah. Let me go to page 348 real quick. So I'm showing right now, this is a pictograph that they have right here of the fragments of the calendar that they found. So this is a pictograph of the first month. Okay, scholars, put together a pictograph to show you within the fragments. They was able to put together a pictograph of the first month. All right, and for the first month, it says that it says this right here. It say first month of the first year in a 6-year cycle. So just like the land has a 6-year cycle, the calendar has a 6-year cycle also, brothers and sisters. All right. So I'm gonna keep going. All right. So now, dealing with this 6-year cycle, now I'm gonna go to page 351. 351. And this is dealing with the feasts, okay, throughout the year. So it was fragments found of a 6-year cycle of them keeping the calendar for a 6-year cycle. And each of these 6 years, the holy days, they fall on the same day of the week each year. All right, because it's dealing with a 364 calculation, and they dealing with their holy days. The sun is the first witness for their holy days. The moon is the second witness. All right, so the reason why their holy days fall on the same day of the week each year is because the sun is their indicator when it comes to calculating their feast days, calculating the feast days. Okay, so now on page 351, check this out. Oh, but I'm gonna read this right. But check this out. It say, in the days, the Sabbaths, and the months, 4 years for sabbatical years and for jubilees. On the 4th day of the week of the sons of Gomer, let you know the 4th day of the week. You start the calendar on the 4th day of the week. All right. So they letting you know now the first year. This is the first year of the feast, and the feasts are on the first day of the week. You have the waving of the sheep. The 5th day of the week, you got the second Passover. The first day of the week, you got the Feast of Weeks. The 4th day of the week, you got the day of memorial blowing of the trumpets. The 6th day of the week, you got the Day of Atonement. All right. And it goes like this all the way until And then you got on the fourth day of the week, you have the Feast of Tabernacles, and they all falls within their months. All right, so then it goes right here and say the second year. So this is the second year of the calendar. Like I said, it's the 6-year cycle of the calendar. And the holy days are on the same days of the week. They're on the same days of the week, okay? All right, now going down to the third year of the calendar, and the holy days are on the same day of the week. They're on the same day of the week, okay? They still on the same day of the week. Let's keep going. The fourth year, they are on the same day of the week. They're on the same day. So it's showing you a 4-year cycle of the calendar where their holy days fall on the same day of the week each year. All right. Now you got the fifth year. Hold on. Got the fifth year, and it's the same day of the week. Their holy days fall on the same day of the week, brothers and sisters. Now you got the last cycle of the calendar, which is the 6th year, because on the 7th year, it's a different routine for the priests. All right. Throughout the 6th year, they have the same routine, and they just alternate throughout their 6-year cycle. But on the 7th year, it's a whole different routine for them, for the priests. All right. So now on the 6th year, we see that the holy days are on the same day of the week. Okay. On the same day of the week that it was on the first year, on the second year, the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, and the 6th year. All right. And then it stopped. Well, where the 7th year at? Where? So there wasn't no fragments of the 7th year. Why? Because it's a different cycle on the 7th year. You're going into the year of release. All right. The year of rest. Okay. So now, let me go to page 362. I'm gonna skip down a little bit. Bear with me. Get to 360. All right. So now I'm gonna go to page 362, and this is in the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Penguin edition by Giza Vermes. And on page 362, that's what I'm on. Yeah, let me go. So on page 362, what did I go here? But it's showing, okay, I went here for a specific reason. But I went here to show you that it has the 6 years also in here. It's showing you, but it is giving you different information about the same holy days, which is on the same day, but it's giving you more information, but it's letting you know like it still have a 6-year cycle of the calendar. It has a 6-year cycle, okay? A 6-year cycle, which is important for people to know. It's important. It's important for people to know in the 5th year, okay, in the first year, in the second, in the third, in the fourth, in the fifth, in the 6th, letting you know it's a 6-year cycle on this calendar. All right. All right. So now since I showed that, we're gonna come back to the scrolls in just a second, but let me go back to Leviticus chapter 25. Hold on. So Leviticus chapter 25, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. I'm gonna read verse 4 and 5, and it say, "But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard." All right, verse 5, "That which groweth of his own accord of thy harvest shall not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is the year of rest unto the land." So the land has a year of rest. And just like that, the calendar has a week of rest. So once, like pretty much every 7 years, what's going to happen is, like eventually within that 7-year cycle of the calendar, the equinox, which is equal parts day and night, because it had equal. Now, people say the equilux is the equal parts day and night. No, it's not. The equinox, we had a sundown. We can, matter of fact, we made sundowns, and we actually went out here in Kenya and out in Egypt. We got the rate we got the readings. All right, we got the readings, and we were surprised. We were like, whoa, you know what? It's crazy, because what's on timeanddate.com is actually correct. We thought the timeanddate.com, with all this astronomical technology they have, we thought that they was wrong, but they were right. So we found out that the equinox is the real true part day and night, is the true parts day and night, part day and night, equal parts day and night. We found out that the equinox is the real equal parts day and night by doing the sundown. And we come to find out that on the equinox, the sun rises 90 degrees east, straight like that, and it sets 270 degrees west, which equals up to 360 degrees altogether. So what we came to find out is that that Enoch never talked about minutes. He only talked about parts, which is hours. So people get confused trying to look at the hours and the minutes, trying to figure out equal parts day and nights. But really, just look at the parts, look at the hours. But not just the hours, you have to understand the degrees, because the sun rise 90 degrees east and it's set 270 degrees west. That's letting you know the sun is right in the center of the earth, right above the equator, and it's in the full center of a 360 degree circumference cycle. Okay, so we come to find out, we're like, oh, it's the equinox. It's been the equinox the whole time. And the ancients, like when I read Philo, when we go into ancient records, all the ancient records, they speaks about the equinox. Okay, equinox is being the true equal parts day and night, because it is. But with that being said, the land has a Sabbath rest, and not only does the land has a Sabbath rest, the calendar has a sabbatical rest also. You skip a week, because once the equinox go past, what's happening is between that 7-year cycle, the equinox will pass. It will pass the 4th day of the week, and that's the day you're supposed to start the calendar, on the 4th day of the week. The 364th day is on a Tuesday. It's on what the word would call Tuesday, but it's on the 3rd day of the week. All right. So what happens is, once equal parts, because people don't understand, equal parts day and night, it moves a day forward or backward, whatever you want to call it, forward or backward, but it moves a day each year. Like last year it was on Tuesday. Now this year, because we have a 365.225, it may skip a day one year and jump instead of being on Wednesday this year, it was on Thursday and Friday. So what happened, because that 365.225, it makes it jump a day ahead, or 2 days ahead. You know what I'm saying? But over time, it will actually go through all the days of the week precisely also too, because that 365.225, what it is with the 364, over a period of time, it will always, be in sync with each other. So what I'm saying is that eventually, everything will fall in its proper order, because it is correct numbers. It's just that 365, that 5 and that 0.225 causes it to be slightly different sometimes. I don't know if y'all can understand what I'm saying, but people who do math, really good at math, I'm not even really good at math. This is the Most High showing me this stuff. But people who are really good at math can truly understand what I'm talking about, because of the 365.225, what it does, it makes it uneven at certain times. Okay. All right. So now, so with that being said, once the equinox passes, because it will passes it, but all we have to do is every 7th year, we just start the calendar on that next Wednesday. We start the calendar that next Wednesday. You start the calendar on the Wednesday after the equinox, you know. And if you follow that routine and following the routine that every 7th year you have to reset, then you're going to always stay in sync, because that's how it is. The sevens is important, and these sevens are important because it's letting us know, it's keeping us on track with going into that 49 to that 50 to that Jubilee. And I'm going to show y'all this in the scriptures in a second. So now, let me go back to the scrolls real quick. Let me go back to the scrolls. So I'm going to go to page 365. And we're still in the calendar section, per se. All right. 1 second. All right. So now, I'm on page 365, and it say on the 4th day of the week, it's lights on the 4th day of the week of creation, because that's the day you start the calendar. On the 4th day of the week, that's the day, your first day of the first month should always be on the 4th day of the week. All right. And it say the sign of, the sign of Sakaniah in the 4th year. So let you know, so they keeping these years. Okay, they keeping these years. This is the 4th year, and it say the sign of Gamal in the year of release, the first sabbatical year, to let you know the scrolls, they was keeping up with the sabbatical year, with the year of release, with the year of rest for the land. So what happens is, when they get to that year of release, they understand, okay, that's 7. They said, okay, that's 7. Okay, that's the first sabbatical year. Okay, then they do another 7. Okay, that's the 2nd sabbatical year. They do another 7. That's the 3rd sabbatical year. They do another 7. That's the 4th sabbatical year, the 5th sabbatical year, the 7th sabbatical year. And when they get to the 7th sabbatical year, they know that's 7 times 7. That's 49. Then they got one more year, and that's 50. Then they celebrate the 50th Jubilee. All right, to celebrate the year of Jubilee, which is 49 and 50. All right, so it's the 2nd sabbatical cycle. All right, the sign in the 6th year, the sign in the 3rd year, letting you know, and they had the 3rd sabbatical cycle, letting you know they're keeping up with these sabbatical cycles, which is the 7th year of the land of rest, which is the 7th year of the land of the year of release. It's the 7th year. So they keeping up with these 7s because it's going to calculate them to the Jubilee, to the 50, to the 49 and 50. All right. So this is important to understand. So I'm not creating a calendar. I'm not creating a calendar. I'm following the calendar that's been brought forth to us, that's been preserved. All right. So they deal with the year of release. All right, they deal with the sabbatical year, and they're keeping up with these sabbatical years. Okay, they're keeping up with these sabbatical years. In the 7th sabbatical year, so you got so it started off with, okay, it started off with the 1st sabbatical year right here, the 1st sabbatical year, the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Okay, and then they let you know, okay, that's a Jubilee. That's a 49, and next year it's a 50. All right. So this is important to understand that. All right. And how are you going to keep a calendar if you don't understand this? How are you going to keep up with Jubilees, keep up with prophecy, keep up with something if you don't understand this right here? Now, this is important. Now, I'm not knocking people who follow other calendars and stuff like that, but I'm not here to create a calendar, and I'm not here to follow a Jewish calendar either. I don't have no problem. I celebrate holy days with people who celebrate holy days on Jewish on Jewish feast calendars calculations. It's okay. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I know the truth. And eventually one day, you know, we'll be all probably be able to talk about what is the true calendar. But now I don't think it's the time right now because everybody's so doctrinal, you know, separated. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going. Let's keep going. So now I'm gonna go to the book of Jubilees. Okay. I'm gonna go to the book of Jubilees. Let me stop sharing my screen just for 1 second. We're going to go to the book of Jubilees. All right. Now I'm going to go to the book of Jubilees, and I'm going to go to chapter 50. Let me reshare my screen. So we're in Jubilees, and I'm gonna go to chapter 50. So we're in the book of Jubilees, chapter 50, and I'm gonna read verse 1 through 5. Okay. And after this law, I made known to thee the days of the Sabbaths in the desert of Sinai, which is between Elam and Sinai. And I told thee of the Sabbaths of the land of Mount Sinai. And I told thee of the Jubilees years and the Sabbath of years. But the year thereof have I not told thee till ye enter the land which ye are to possess. So he didn't tell them about a specific year yet until they got into the land, which is the year of the sabbatical rest of the land. About to read it, verse 3. And the land also shall keep its Sabbath. So the land shall keep its. So if the land keeping its Sabbaths, what make you think the calendar not keeping its Sabbaths either? Because the calendar is connected to the land is connected to the calendar. All right. So in the land also shall keep its Sabbaths, while they dwell upon it, and they shall know the Jubilee year. So by us keeping the Sabbath, this is how we stay up with the Jubilee year, which is the 50, with that 50. This is how we keep up. This is how we keep up with the 50. This is how we keep up with the Jubilee, by keeping up with the sabbatical Sabbaths of the land. All right. And I'm going to keep going. So check this out, verse 4. Wherefore I have ordained for thee the year weeks, and the years, and the Jubilees. There are 49 Jubilees from the days of Adam until this day. So when you do the calculations, when you do that, you do 49 times 49. All right. And then it say in 1 week is 7 years. When we're dealing with Jubilees, it's going to show you, because, and it say in 1 week and in 2 years, and the calculation that you get is right here, 2,410. All right, that's the calculation you get. So when you do 49 times 49 plus 7 plus 2 years, you get 2,410. All right. So this is letting you know, this is how you, so that 1 week, that we skip on the calendar, that week that we skip is in Jubilees is 7 years. So it's all lining up with each other. So when we skip that week on the 7th year, that week is actually in Jubilees 7 years. All right. So it's like it's doing a whole it's resetting itself and starting over. It's doing that automatically. All right. So, and then it say, and there are yet 40 years to come for learning the commandments of the Lord, until they pass over into the land of Canaan, crossing the Jordan to the west. So when you add that 40 years of them in the wilderness, you get 2,450. All right. You get this number right here. Okay. So this is how you add Jubilees. So, okay, so a Jubilee count is 49. A Jubilee year is 50. All right. And how you count Jubilees, you count Jubilees by sevens. All right. So when it say 1 week in the book of Jubilees, when it say 1 week, it's talking about 7 years. All right. This is how you know that we're following the correct calendar, because based off Jubilees, we didn't know that we had to skip a week until we were studying the calendar. Like, oh, we got to skip a week every 7 years. And then we found out that week we skipped, that week in Jubilees is 7 years in Jubilees. We're like, whoa. And then the land has a sabbatical rest for that whole year. Huh? On the 7th year, it has a whole rest for that whole year on the 7th year. Whoa. We're like, whoa. And then they got, it's a law within the Torah. Talk about the 7th year release. So the land has its own Sabbaths. So what make you think the calendar don't have its own Sabbaths? All right, its own Sabbath of release. All right, all because we don't read certain things in there, that don't mean it's not there, brothers and sisters. We have a lot of things lost also. So we have to examine the information, use critical thinking, all right, and actually do the work. All right. Now, so this is important. This is important what I just went into right there. Now, let's see. I'm trying to go at least about maybe about another 10, 15 minutes, maybe. Let's see. I don't want to go too deep and throw y'all off with anything, but let me read this. Matter of fact, let me go to the prophets. Let me go to Second Chronicles, and I'm gonna go to Jeremiah. All right, and then we're gonna talk about how do we celebrate it, and then we'll talk about the 7th-year release, and then I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I don't want this to be too long, and I don't want to give out too much. I don't want to clutter with too much information to confuse people. I want to give enough information so people can go in there and dig into their own, dig it into it. People can go in there and dig into it themselves. All right, so now yeah, let's go to Second Chronicles real quick. So we're gonna go to Second Chronicles. And let me go. Second Chronicles chapter 36, and I'm going to start at verse 20. I'm going to read verse 20 to 21. And it reads, "And them that escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia." Verse 21, "To fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath. She kept Sabbath to fulfill 10 years." So now, one of the reasons why we went into captivity to Babylon, one of the reasons is we wasn't keeping the sabbatical Sabbaths of the land. All right, so when the Most High sent us to Babylon captivity, the Most High was like, you know what? Now the land gets to enjoy her Sabbaths. She get to enjoy her sabbaticals because we wasn't giving it to her while we was in the land. We wasn't doing it. We went off and stopped even giving the 7-year sabbatical of the land. All right. You do wrong to the land is gonna do wrong to you. So that what happened. All right. Let me go to Jeremiah. 1 second. Let me go to Jeremiah chapter 25. I'm going to read verse 11. "And this whole land shall be a desolation and in astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. And it shall come to pass And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity, and the land of Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolation." All right, so I went there to show that the land for 70 years, the land was keeping its Sabbaths, keeping its sabbatical Sabbaths, because we weren't in there. We weren't in there. All right, now there's one more thing I wanted to read out of Jeremiah. All right, now I'm going to go to Jeremiah chapter 29. I'm starting at verse 8. "For thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which ye cause to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, said the Lord." He ain't sent these prophets. Because these prophets, they not telling us to keep up with the sabbatical of the land. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Verse 10. "For thus said the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, and causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you an expected end." Let me keep going. Verse 12. "Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And hold on, I lost where. And ye shall seek me and find me, and when ye shall search for me with all your heart, and I will be found of you, said the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from the places whither I have driven you, said the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place where I caused you to be carried away captive. Because ye have said, the Lord have raised us up prophets in Babylon. So, and even in just, I'm just coinciding with today's society. Today's society, we want to say America is Babylon, but the whole world can be Babylon, to be honest with you, and dealing with the influence. But the Most High raising prophets in these signs. He's raising up prophets to teach us about these things, to tell us about getting back to the land, getting back to this land and things like that. We fell off so much from the land that we didn't keep the land sabbaticals no more. Okay. And because of that, that was one of the reasons why the Most High sent us off to Babylon. Now, let's see. It was something else that was linking in with this. Let me see. All right, now, let me go to Deuteronomy. Yeah, let me go to Deuteronomy. Go to the book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter, let me start Deuteronomy chapter 15. I'm gonna start at verse 15. I'm gonna start at Deuteronomy chapter 15. This is the sabbatical year. All right, this is sabbatical year. So I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 15. I'm gonna start at verse 1. And then at the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. So at the end of the 7th year, you make a release of what? We're gonna read it. Verse 2, and this is the manner of the release. So this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is caused the Lord's release. So so in the 7th year, going into the end of the 7th year, you release people from every debt they may have been under, every creditor, every debt they may have been under. You release them because it's not of you, is of the Lord's. All right, verse 3. Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again. There was a foreigner, yeah, you can reestablish this again, make sure that y'all terms are still on the same terms. But that which is thine with thy brother, hence you should release it. Release them out of the debt. If it's your brother, release them out of the debt. Verse 4. Save when there shall be no poor among you, for the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God give thee for inheritance to possess. All right. So on the 7th, this is how we celebrate this. So on the 7th year, at the end of the 7th year, you release people from any debt they may have been under, anything, like you release yourself from any stress. I mean, it's the 7th year. We're releasing things. We're releasing any bad energy, any people that's in debt, any people, we release. And then not only that, the calendar has a release. We release the calendar. You have, in that 7th year, you need to skip a week so you can still be in sync with everything. All right. Let me keep going. Let me jump down to verse 9. And it say, beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release is at hand, and that I be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it is be sent unto thee. So in the 7th year, a brother that's been struggling or something, they may have owe you some money, whatever, or something like that, whatever the situation is going on, you release them from that bondage. And the Most High will bless you for that, because you're doing it in the 7th year of release. So you release them from that. If they're not able to fulfill their thing by the end of the 7th year, you release them from that. Verse 10, thou shalt surely give him, thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all thou puttest thy hand unto. All right. Verse 11, for the poor shall not cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to the poor, and to thy needy in thy land. So this is why if we do things the right way, the poor will be fulfilled. The poor will be fulfilled if we do things the right way. We're coming into the land, growing in the land for 6 years, and on the seventh year, you follow the correct ordinance for the seventh year. The things that's left over, you give to the people that's in need. You let the animals eat those things. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High will bless you. Verse 12. And if thy brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the seventh year thou shalt let him go free from thee. So even in the seventh year, anybody who is a Hebrew brother or sister, and really, just to be honest with you, anybody that's doing some type of servitude, if we following this right protocol, in that seventh year, you let them go. They you let them go. If things is done correctly, they would have served you correctly them 6 years. All right. Let me see. I don't want to skip too much because I want y'all to, because it is a way we're supposed to celebrate the seventh year. All right. Let's see. Let's matter of fact. Let me read verse 18. It say, and it shall not seem hard unto thee. It's talking about doing these things that you're supposed to be doing within the seventh year. It should not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away free from thee. When you let them go free, when you let that servant go free on that seventh year, for he hath been worth a double higher servant to thee, and serving thee 6 years. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest. All right. So these are some things that we do in the seventh year. You release people from any of their debt, from any of their bondage. You release them from this in the seventh year. All right. Now, let me go to Deuteronomy 31. Deuteronomy chapter 31. Right. So Deuteronomy chapter 31, I'm starting at verse 9. And this is the reading of the law dealing with the seventh year. And Moses wrote this law and delivered it unto the priests, the sons of Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and unto all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the Feast of Tabernacles, when all Israel come to appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear and that they may learn and fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law. And that their children which have not known anything may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God, as long as ye live in the land, whether ye go over Jordan to possess it. So at the end of every 7 years, we're supposed to read the law to the whole congregation. All right. So at the end of so during the 7th year, it's supposed to be a big reading of the law. All right, in the 7th year. All right, so these are things that we're supposed to do in the 7th year. So in the 7th year, you have a Sabbath land rest. So the land have a sabbatical rest for that year. You release brothers and sisters from any debt or any bondage that you may have them in. You release them from the debt at the end of the 7th year. You read the law as a congregation. You have reading of the law programs, at the end of the 7th year. All right. So you do these things. I'm sure there's more things that we do that we may not know, that we may find out later on in time. And then we also, because the calendar is connected to the land and the land is connected to the calendar, we also release the calendar for a week for on the 7th year. All right. And that week is symbolic to 7 years in Jubilees. All right. So now, let's see. Let me go. Now let me go to Leviticus. Let me go back to Leviticus 25. Leviticus 25. All right, so we read about the Sabbath year, but let me read it again. Let me read it again, so we're gonna get some more understanding of what we do. But in the seventh year shall be, this is Leviticus 25, verse 4. I'm gonna start at verse 3. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the seventh year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard. That which groweth of its own of his harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee and for thy servant and for thy maid and for thy hired servant and for thy stranger that sojourn with thee. And for thy cattle and for the beasts that are in the land, they shall all the increase thereof be meat. So things that's there, that grow there, that's there. We're not harvesting, we're not planting anything, but things that just there, that's there is going to be for food for us. You know what I'm saying? Now hold on. Now, verse 8. Now, this is how we celebrating this. We celebrate this, but now we keep up with these sevens for a reason. Leviticus 25, verse 8. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee. So we got 1 Sabbath, 2 Sabbaths, 3 Sabbaths. These are the sabbatical years, okay? These are the 7th years. So these Sabbath years, these 7th years would be numbered to us. All right. And 7 times 7 years, in the space of 7 Sabbaths of years, shall be unto thee 40 and 9 years. So we keep up with these sevens. So once we get once we get 7 sabbatical years, we know that's 49 years. All right. And we need to know that's leading into 50. All right, the next to the Jubilee. So then verse 9 said, thou shalt cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land unto all the inhabitants. It shall be a Jubilee unto you. And ye shall return every man into his possession. And ye shall return every man into his family. So on those 7th years, and then also those 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, that's leading up to 49, leading up to the 50. When that 50th year comes, it's the year of liberty. So the same things that we was doing at the 7th year of release, you do those same things on the year of liberty, which is the 50th year, which is the Jubilee year. All right. And so you let people go. You free people from any of those, any of the bondage, any debt, you let it go. All right. And it say verse 12, it say, for it is the Jubilee, and it shall be holy unto you. Because this is a holy, it's holy because we keeping up with those sevens. All right. And this is how we're going to understand Jubilee, the time. All right. So this is ways we follow those 7 years. I mean, those 7. All right. And it's laws that take place when we on the year of liberty, which is the 50th year. When we on that 50th year, it's the year of liberty, and it's things that we do on things that we do too, which some of those things are symbolic, are similar to the things that we did on the 7th year of release. All right. So now, that's information. That's information on how we keep, these things, on how we keep. Now, let me go to Leviticus 26. All right, and let me read verse 1. Check this out. This is Leviticus chapter 26, verse 1. Ye shall make no idols, no graven image, neither rear up a standing image, neither shall ye set up an image of stone in your land to bow down unto it. For I am the Lord your God. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield up increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. Verse 5. And your threshing shall reach unto the vantage, and the vantage shall reach unto the sowing time, and ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace unto the land, and ye shall lay down, and none shall make you afraid, and I will rid evil beast out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. So if we keep these blessings, if we keep these laws, these blessings will be on us with the land. All right. But as soon as we stop following these laws and trying to do our own thing, whatever like that, what happens is, I'm gonna show you what happens. I'm gonna go down verse 32. Now, if we don't keep this stuff, I will bring, verse 32, I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell there shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen and draw out the sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it layeth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbaths. So when we start now following the laws and doing our own thing, not even keeping up with the sabbatical land, the Sabbath, the land have its own Sabbaths, not keeping up with that, we end up, the Most High is going to take us out of the land. Verse 35, and as long as it layeth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when you dwelt upon it. All right. So I'm saying the calendar is connected to the land is connected to the calendar. All right. To the point that people stop doing the 7th sabbatical land rest. People stop doing that. All right. If you don't treat the land right, the land is not going to treat you right. And the Most High will get you up out of the land. You know what I'm saying? So it's information. Now, it's a lot of information. I'm not gonna say a lot of information, but I may come back and do a part 2 of this. It may go into more deeper information with this, or I may get more information and may provide more information, but this is a year of, we in the year of release. We in the Sabbath year of rest. And all these sevens is going to accumulate to that 49. All right. Which is going to ultimately accumulate to the 50th year, the Jubilee 50th year, which is the they call it the land of the year of, what they call it, the year of release. It's another name they was calling it, but let me go back to it. It's another name. Yeah, they call it the year of liberty. Okay, the year of liberty. The 50th Jubilee year is the year is proclaimed liberty, the year of liberty, right? So you got the year of liberty. Then you have, in the 7th year, those are the year of release, in the year of the Sabbath land rest. All right. And all those things go together. All right. So, but I just wanted to put that information out there, because the equal parts day and night was on Thursday this year. All right. It was on Thursday and Friday this year. Now, people felt like they should start the calendar on Wednesday regardless. I mean, on the Wednesday, that what was it? It was, what day that was? Let me see. Wednesday. So people thought they started the calendar on the 19th. But really, the calendar starts on the 26th, because we in that 7th year, and we did the year of release. We skipped that week of Jubilee, which is 7 year in Jubilees. We skipped that week, and the calendar, the first day of the first month will be on March the 26th. And then all we doing is just following a 6-year cycle. And then when that 7th year come, we skip a week again. And then we just do that continually, and we're gonna always be on point. Our holy days will always be on the same day. Everything will always happen the way it's supposed to happen. We're not gonna go out of season or nothing like that, because we're following the year of release. All right. All right, so now I'm gonna just leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I may, come back and do another lesson more about the year of liberty, the year of release, how canceling debts and all of that is part of, the 7th year and everything like that. So, but it's and what they call a Shemitah, a Shemitah. I think I'm pronouncing it right. But it's all dealing with the sabbatical year. But Shabbat Shalom, and I hope everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath, and Shalom. Shalom.